Hey guys, happy Shameless Sunday. It is our season finale, and it's kind of like the end of an era. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's get to it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hold it together, everybody.
Doing my best.
I know. Oh my goodness. As Shameless does, I think we finally got that episode that made us emotional, made us emotionally exhausted. You know, it felt very weird watching the credits roll on this one, for sure.
I was kind of waiting for more. I was watching the credits and I'm like, there has to be.
Yeah, are they going to give you a little bit more tidbits of information? Where is she going? All that kind of stuff. But yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. Let's start off and dive into the episode like we always do. Talk about exactly what happened, and then we'll leave Fiona to the end so that she's really not gone yet. Okay, so let's start with Carl and Debbie because that's where we. Oh. Well, let me introduce myself first. I have somebody in my ear saying, "Don't forget to introduce yourself." I'm Haley. Hello. Jessica's with me. Jessica, say hello to everybody.
I'm here. Jessica O'Connor.
And my other lovely panel member, JJ.
Hi, guys. Good to see you again.
Sorry, guys. That was awkward. I thought we changed that around. No? I thought we're supposed to be doing that now towards the end.
So we introduce ourselves. We just don't give our handles up until the end.
Sorry, guys. It's been an emotional episode.
Yes.
Emotional night.
We're all over the place.
You can't blame any of this on me. She's gone.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, Carl and Debbie, we see them dressed in all black, ski masks, getting ready to go vandalize Kelly's truck. Not that we know of. We see Carl spray painting the truck, but we don't really know exactly what it says. We see them putting nails in the tires and then filling the gas tank with sugar. What does that do? Does anybody know? Besides
I think it
screw
just.
up the.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I think it just totally ruins it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I'll
great.
have to look that one up.
She obviously
some
knew how to get
research.
it out because she kept driving her truck. But then we find out later on as Kelly comes back around, having a bit of an inkling that it was those two, that the truck says Heart
Beaker.
Beaker. See you next Tuesday. And she's yelling at Debbie like, "How could you do this?" And she's like, "That wasn't me. I know how to spell." And then of course she's like, "Carl." What do we think about these two, and their antics at the beginning of the episode?
I actually loved it because I thought it was shameless fashion, and I liked them teaming up and going for it. I like the way this whole thing, like how it worked out. I mean, because I did get to like them together, and I liked that.
Carl and Kelly?
Yeah. And I liked that. I just thought it was really funny. I thought it was a great ride. I loved how Debs and him teamed up together to do this, and then I loved Debs telling her, like, I liked her taking herself out of it for a bit, and saying, no, it's about him. You broke his heart. You're ruining his life, and everything. I like how she answered and dragged him out of that. I thought it was great.
What do you think?
It's so relatable when you see your siblings hurting or going through a heartbreak. You're like, oh, I want to kill him, but the Gallaghers always just take it to that next level, and they're like, oh no, we'll actually ruin her truck.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I will say, Carl, for not knowing how to spell, is a very good
Graffiti artist.
graffitier. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Those were some beautiful, beautiful letters. Carl is still at Captain Bob's, and we actually see a little bit of a different opportunity for Carl present itself today. So while he's at work, Captain Bob himself shows up, which he thought was, just a myth, like Colonel Sanders. And his fun manager was like, Colonel Sanders was a real guy, Carl. Captain Bob offers him an assistant manager job, $500 a week, which for Carl that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. And it's, a thought for him. Like he actually is, considering it. And wants it because he feels like he, like Debbie said, has been rejected from everything else. So what's he going to do? And Captain Bob makes it sound pretty nice. He gets vacation. He's got a Winnebago, some boats, couple Cadillacs. It's not a terrible option.
I was so mad at him.
Yeah. Who, at Captain Bob or Carl?
No, not Captain Bob. Captain Bob was really trying. And like you said, I don't think
He's
it was
doing his job.
a bad option. But he can do so much more. And I that's not what he wants to do.
Right.
you know?
Yeah, deep down, Carl wants to be in the military.
Right.
He wanted to go to West Point so bad, and just because that didn't work out, you know, we've got to find something else. So when Kelly barges into Captain Bob's, zip ties him, after tackling him, zip ties him, and throws him in the back of her truck. I think we finally realized that, you know, something was going to happen now that was going to make him go back to school instead of trying to drop out. It wasn't going to work from Debbie trying to tell him to go back to school because that's your family, it's your sister. Of course they want you to do whatever they think is best. But when the girl that you love comes back around and tells you to stop being a pussy and get your life together, it seems to work.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't mind. I thought both options were great for him. To be honest, I thought both awesome because it's like I have a cousin who started out in McDonald's and she worked her way all up and had a ranch, you know, worked way up in the company, does really, really well for herself. So I didn't think this was a bad option either because he's not going to be in harm's way. He's not going to get injured in, you know, the military.
Except for the place that he's going to work has 6 break-ins.
Well, I was just going to say that too. I was going to say the fact that got me was that he wanted him there because of him, you know, hurting somebody really badly. If it would have just been like, we have this great, you know, shop that we want you to take care of. So anyway, but I do ultimately like that he wanted to go with what his true passion was and where he feels his calling is. Yeah,
now I know we already talked about it a little bit, was Debbie's monologue and kind of speech to Kelly, but I want to talk about it more because that was a big moment for me, even just for Emma, the actress who plays Debbie. What a good monologue. Like, what an emotional moment that we got from her, and I feel like we haven't had one from Debbie and her character in a long time. So what did you think about that? I mean, I know you already touched on you loved how she kind of came out of herself and was not being so selfish for a second, but
that was one of my favorite moments of her ever.
Yeah.
I had the same thought when I was watching that scene. I was like, wow, this is really showing her growth as an actor. Like, that was damn good.
Yeah, it was. It made me emotional for sure, and I think even as a normal person to admit that you were in love with somebody, especially knowing that they don't feel the same way, is really hard. And so just to see her be that vulnerable too is really nice for me. I really enjoyed that moment. On the other hand, we still see her being like kind of a fun, loose mom with Franny. Like, I was laughing at Franny really, really hard today, especially with her cameos with Frank. I was loving it. Franny's a really cute little girl. Like, the actress is just so cute. I always wonder how they get them to say, like, book and all the things that they need them to say at the right time. And
I've always thought about that. I used to think about that with Full House, like with the Tanner babies. I was like, how did they do that?
Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen were a different story. They were like born to be actors. It's like they came out of the womb and they were like, I'll take a check. Yeah. But yeah, Franny's like by herself half of the episode, and then she just they all come in and out of the house like it's nothing. Like, their schedules throughout the day are hilarious. They're all over the place. Okay, let's move on to Kev and V, who are we see them now where we kind of left off, which was in the bedroom working on the sex.
Kev's a man again.
Kev is a man again, but like a bit too much of a man now. He's on 48 minutes of sex, and poor V is probably like dry as a desert down there. And she's just like, all right, I'm going to need you to finish it now. And he's so proud of himself, like so proud of himself. But yeah, so obviously, you know, his balls are working well again, which...
Great news.
Yeah, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. We're also seeing him really enjoying his new role of Jesus. We don't get to see him perform the role of Jesus, maybe next season, who knows. But he does want to become a holiday Jesus rental. So you could rent him for your, you know, Jesus parties, as they put it. And he's like, I could be a bat mitzvah Jesus. I could be a Christmas Jesus. What other Jesus is? What is Last Supper Jesus?
Last Supper Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, and then at one point he took his shirt off again this episode, and I was like, I'll rent you to be Jesus for my birthday party.
You can be my Lord and Savior.
Yeah, but these two are funny, and we don't see too much else of them this episode, but fun little cameos here and there. Let's talk a little bit about Lip. That way we can talk about Kevin Lip's little moment at the end too. But oh boy, Lip. I don't know how I feel about this whole Lip and Tami situation, so I'd love to talk to you guys about it. There's points where I'm like, I completely understand Tami, and then there's points where I'm like, what the heck are you doing, girl? So what are your overall opinions of this whole situation? I know we've talked about it a little bit, but now that this is the season finale, what's your like ending thoughts on where we are?
For me, I'm the same as you, like, but the scale kind of tipped a little way in my not in favor of her in this episode. Because I feel like I understand her fear, but I feel like we've seen that a couple episodes now. And like he said, that she's been shitty to him since she found out that she was pregnant. So it's been going on for a while. I just feel like she's... I worry for him because I just don't think she's like stable enough for him. I mean, I understand she's going through so much, and I can't imagine knowing like, I mean, I'm sure her fears of not being there for her daughter if she has a daughter now, knowing she does have the gene and all those things. So I mean, it's good writing because you're torn. Because on the one hand, you hate her in so many times. Like if she got in that car and drove off one more time, I was like, okay, enough. Just that's not. You need to talk through things. We keep seeing her not
running from the problem.
running from things, and he keeps being there. So I was glad, like finally when. I think I said out loud when she's like, well, you want me to wait or whatever. I'm like, please say no. Like, are you hungry? Like, say no. Like, just don't. Like, make her wait for a second. Give her some time to, like, go think if that's what she wants so badly, So, I don't know. I mean, I think he'll be a wonderful father when he is a father. I agree. I just want it to be, like, when he's in love.
Right.
Not, like...
I think he has the heart of gold, and she just keeps stomping on it. Like, he is... I won't say most, but a lot of girls don't have that kind of situation. He's so supportive, is there every step of the way. Like things could be a lot worse.
Completely.
And I don't think she's appreciating that at all. And he could be handling it in a totally different way. And I think he's just trying to be as supportive as possible. And it doesn't matter what he says, it's wrong. So I'm a little over her. I think she needs to like meet him halfway a little.
Especially since he dealt with like the guy coming back too and her sleeping with him and like I don't know, there's just been a lot.
I loved the moment when she said, well, do you love me? And he was so completely honest and said, I like you, but I think we could get there, but you're kind of not giving me that chance right now. And I just thought that was such a real life moment for me where it was like, yeah, you are in this situation, which isn't ideal. Okay, it's not ideal. You didn't want a baby, like she said. She's trying to save money for a salon, which are all great goals that you feel like all of a sudden are not possible because you're going to have to pay and take care of a kid. But to just be like, yes, I love you, let's get married, makes it so much worse. He was like such a mature grown-up in that situation to me, and I loved seeing that for his character. But yeah, of course, she freaks out right after he says that and doesn't,
storms away.
Yeah, so it's tough. And I have... no idea, what she's feeling. She does have the BRCA1 gene, we found out, which is the good baby kind, which is why they're even having this discussion about having babies. But she does mention that she would have to have a baby and then get a double mastectomy. So, those are already... she's just so many steps ahead of herself, which I think doesn't help, at all. But how could you not be, I guess, when you get that kind of news, Lip... really takes it to heart when she tells him that she thinks he'll be a shitty father, which that one thing I was like, God, that was so mean. Yeah. It was so mean.
Especially because he's been raising kids his whole life, and she doesn't even know him like that.
That she saw him with Zan, and like how he stuck up for her, and did what was right for her, which was give her away and not try to, maybe do what he would have done years ago, which was run and hide her somewhere, or whatever. So that really made me upset, and he brought it up to Kev at the end, and Kev was like, I think you're going to be a great dad. Like, you're going to be awesome. And,
those are the exact moments that make me not want him to be with her. Because I just feel like she does not recognize, like you said, like what he is. And, just the things like she has been selfish. I mean, last week she was drinking in front of him, a lot. Like, just, I don't think she's emotionally good enough for him.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. I know. I mean, God, he takes care of everybody in all of his storylines that we see. Jason in the shop, he's trying to, got him a job this week. He's going to try to teach him how to repair bikes and all that kind of stuff. And, it's whoever it is, even Fiona, when she says she's leaving, not to jump ahead.
Yeah.
He immediately wants the best for her and wants to throw her a party. It's like, of course he's going to be a good dad. Damn it.
The best.
Yep. Yeah. No one's really being a good parent to Liam right now, though.
No.
I am going to throw that out there. Liam is awesome. I love him. Liam is living at Todd's. So we know that he's been there a couple days, and all of the family members have been texting him, trying to get him to like come back home. Well, we find out that he's like full on gonna live at Todd's place now. He's got his own room. He asked to move out of the house during like mass chaos, and they finally just, Debbie yelled and said, fine, whatever, yes. But they had no idea that he was asking to move out. But what was really interesting was the whole race issue around, you know, him being the only black member of his family was finally brought up, and we're in season 9. You know, it was interesting that he finally had that voice for himself to be like, you guys have never put me in a situation to learn about my culture and my background. And he takes us into his room at Todd's, and it's, I mean,
decked out
with Martin Luther King and Obama and all of these amazing, you know, people that Debbie's like, you know about all of these people? Like, you know these people? And I thought it was a good moment, especially when he gave him the list of demands. What do we think about that? Like, what do you, if you had to guess one thing that was on the list besides the own bedroom that we know he asked for, what else do you think Liam would ask for?
He probably asked for some programming. I feel like some cultural shows, movies,
like TV time for his choice of show. What do you think, JJ?
And he probably wanted to go to church more, like he's doing with Todd.
Food. I'm guessing dinner.
I'm also going music. I think he would like,
Well, he was definitely listening to jazz when we, you know, went
I
into
loved
room.
that.
Yeah, he had
Loved
did he
that.
have a record player in there? I don't know why I feel like I saw one.
He was feeling himself.
Yeah, it was great. I love that moment.
literature too, I believe. I think a lot of who would like to read some poetry, some you know, maybe some Langston Hughes, some different stuff, you know.
Right. Well, we even see Liam's writing on his demand sheet. Like we get a quick
He was so
screenshot of it.
eloquent.
Well, it's in cursive.
Yeah.
Like, I guarantee you none of the other Gallaghers have tried and practiced their cursive, and my cursive looks like crap. So, yeah, it was just, that was a fun moment, and I will be excited to see where his storyline goes and how he grows up, because he just feels so much older now. He has so much more of a voice than maybe even, you know, last season or a couple seasons ago. So, yeah, it was cool. Okay. Who else do we have? Oh, Frank. Of course we have Frank. Frank's femur's still broken, and it's going to take 3 to 6 months to heal.
It looks a lot better though. It doesn't look so bad.
Nicely stitched.
Yeah.
Yep, that resident did a good job.
Yep, sure did.
We were
good hands.
worried about that, but he looked okay. Yeah, but he is very demanding. He wants a sponge bath because he's starting to stink. He needs his oxys, which nothing new about that one, and he wants to wash him down with some beer. And it's just, you know, demanding everybody. But Debbie has everyone on a schedule. So she's got the oxy timeline written out when the last time they gave him one. They're only allowed to give him one every certain amount of hours. Everyone was switching. It was a pretty good system. And I was actually kind of surprised that they were all even agreeing to that because no one wants to take care of Frank. Well, what did you think? Were you surprised?
Bedpan too.
Oh,
as well.
Unnecessary shot, in my opinion.
No, it was so shameless just to show all of that. Yeah, that was funny.
I wasn't surprised that they were all. Yeah, I don't think I was surprised by the fact that they were all chipping in and like taking care of him. Because I would think, you know, they would. I loved all the conversations though when they're trying to figure out what to do with it, what to do with him, you know, and he's out there and
no
Deb's like, no one,
cares
yeah,
about
no
you,
one loves you,
Frank.
Frank. So I like that moment because I like seeing them trying to group together to figure out how to deal with him again.
Yeah. What they end up, you know, coming to is Seamus. Oh, good old Seamus.
Yeah.
Their giant neighbor from down the street who, you know, obviously has some issues, right? I mean, I don't remember
Something's
him
up,
too
yeah.
much, but yeah, he loves giving sponge baths for free, and it gets him out of his mom's house, it sounded like, so she was like, go ahead. So Frank's getting free sponge baths from Seamus, and it kind of gets Frank off of everybody else's back. So we're going to come back to Frank, though, a little bit once we get through crying about Fiona. Is it time? I mean, we just have so much to talk about with her, so I wanted to leave most of our time for Fiona. So, it's Emmy Rossum's last episode.
The queen.
And they got us from the beginning because they played the promo before the episode even started, which was just beautiful.
I know, guys. Did you see that montage of like everything from all of those seasons? Immediately.
Saying goodbye is never easy.
Yeah. Oh my God, it makes it so tough. And okay. So I don't know how I feel. Oh God, I just broke my pen. That's how out of it I am. I was tearing up at the end for sure, and I think most of it was because of, not even because of what she's doing. I'm very happy for her, you know, leaving and getting out of Chicago and starting over. It was the reactions of the siblings that made me so emotional. I was just like, oh my God, and just how much they wanted that for her, and you could tell how appreciative they were of everything that she's done for them, that they were just so like
overcome.
Yes, and so happy for her to just start over, that it made me so emotional.
What got me was the note, and all that it said was "love you," along with half of her earnings. That was crazy to me. But just the simple "love you," like, I don't know, that was like,
Yeah, she
that got
didn't
me.
need to say anything else. It was like, and V was there for that awesome moment too, when Debbie finds the 50 grand, saying, you know, she does love you. That's how much she loves you. You know, I hope you guys kind of realize that.
And it was like you said, all the siblings' reaction. It was also sweet, even when, you know, Lip finds out that she's left and he has the food down there for the party and stuff. I just loved even just the little smile on his face. You know, he could have been like, you know, upset or weird. Yeah, like, yeah, you know, and I just loved that he was proud of her and happy, you know, just happy again. And
yeah, because that would have been very shameless of her to stay for the party and then be like, I can't do it.
I can't go.
I can't go.
Yep. So, yeah. And I like that. I love how they did it. I like that it didn't end on her dancing with everybody in the house still. I love that she was at the train station and then on the plane. You know, like
we saw
I like that
those
better,
first
getting
for
out.
her. Yeah. So let's talk about a couple of things we didn't see. So she just ends up having the $100,000 in a cashier's check. So we don't see any of the, you know, signing off with Max and any of that moment. Were you okay with not seeing any of that stuff?
Yep.
I was okay.
Yeah. I think we knew it was going to happen. I don't think there was going to be any other types of negotiations or anything like that. So I think we got that. We did get to see her settle in court. She's got to pay a $2,500 fine and just plead guilty when they call her in, and she's good to go. So we didn't really see any type of, you know, court case there or anything.
Thought that was well written as well.
Me too.
Cool.
Yeah.
What we did see, though, Ian was back. Wow, that made me really emotional too.
Yeah.
I think you learn to just accept everything that's on TV in the show, right? So he's gone, and you move on. You miss him, but then you kind of forget. Like I kind of, not that I forgot about his character by any means, but you just know he's not there anymore, and so you accept it until he's back, and you're like, oh my God, like I missed you. I just, how
He's such a
sensitive
tender
he is.
soul.
Oh God, it was another really great moment for me. He looked like he was doing great.
Yep.
Didn't he seem like he was doing
Calm,
really well?
centered, aware,
Yeah.
clear of mind.
Healthy. He seemed healthy. And I loved that she was kind of, you know, testing out the waters with him because he can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't like it, he's still in jail. And it was just such a perfect person to like lay that on because, like he said, she looked as if she almost wanted somebody to talk her out of it. And he was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. There's no way I'm doing that. You have to go. And she starts to cry, and I don't know. Tell me what you guys thought about that whole
I loved it. And I also love, like I said, I just think this episode was fantastic. I think the writing was completely on point
totally
and
agree.
amazing send-off and great. But I liked the good balance, too, of, like, they didn't belabor over and over these long, drawn-out conversations with her, like, going to each, you know, like, talking about it forever. Like, I think he was just like, what, did you think I was going to talk you out of it? And, like, I don't know, it was just so simple. And just to see her reaction and the tears, and she's kind of like, I mean, like, kind of, you know, it was just...
Oh my gosh. I would like to know too, in the sequence of shooting, when all of these scenes were actually taped, and if they did save them for last just to make them that much more, you know, potent and emotional.
I felt that especially in the scene with Lip, where they were in the room talking. They gave each other this look of like, damn, this is it.
Yeah. I mean, they're either just, well, we know that they're that good of actors anyway, so it's possible. But I have a feeling they probably did that just to, I don't know. That would be a good question to, we'll have to tweet somebody and see if anyone answers or see if we can find it on Twitter. But yeah, so emotional. Even more emotional, though, was her send-off with Frank. And I think that was you, JJ. Was that your prediction?
Well,
I
read she let it out in an interview that there'd be a moment between those two.
Well, I know, but I think you specifically said that he was going to say thank you to her. Somebody on our panel specifically predicted that he was going to say thank you for taking over, for helping. And he did.
In the most frank way possible, though.
Yeah.
We were close to not having it a complete Frank moment. I think she was even kind of like, whoa, because he says to her, you know, when Monica wasn't able to be there, you really stepped in and helped out. Thank you. And she was like, I helped out. Yeah, like, come on, I did the entire thing. But that's not, Frank can't say that. And I don't think we want Frank to totally say that.
And that's why I love this.
You're right.
I loved it because, you know, you think, are you going to get that moment where Frank does actually be a human and show this, you know? But inside he I loved
he was tearing up.
Oh, yeah.
Frank
I
had
loved
tears.
watching him fight it and then continue to be the kind of asshole Frank.
When she was like, see you around, and he's like, doubt it. But then there's like a single tear.
Oh my God, those
awesome.
two. I know, they really do have this unspoken bond that, you know, is definitely not healthy all the time, but there's still that father, oldest daughter bond, you know? But yeah, I thought that was a really, really great moment between the two.
Yeah.
I was a little upset that I didn't get a goodbye between her and V.
Yes, me too.
Because I just feel like as V, that would bug me so much if my best friend of forever just didn't say anything. But knowing them and knowing how close they are, she just gets it. She just understands.
I agree totally with you on that one. I wanted to see it too. And I wanted just the fun girlfriend, moment. You
go
know,
out
just,
there.
Yeah. And just some V, you know, she was always such the mom and such a great best friend, you know.
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen that in a while either, those two.
Especially since they went through that time when they weren't, you know, and then they got back. And so I think a little send-off with them would have been great.
Yeah.
I was also bothered that we never found out where she was going.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Where do we think she was going? I mean, there were a couple of little clues that she was going somewhere warm.
Yeah.
There was a palm tree on the plane.
I noticed that, yeah.
And she even said she'd like to go somewhere warm. She's sick of winters and that kind of stuff. My guess would have been Florida. I think that would have been a great place to start
that
over.
last week.
Not as expensive. Good place to, you know, especially now that she's cut her money in half.
And it's a kind of similar shameless lifestyle down there. I'm from Florida. I can verify that it's crazy down there.
Yeah, you can't yell at her now. She's from Florida.
She's allowed, okay?
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. Do you think they'll... So I guess here's what we talk about now, because we know she's gone, but that they left this open, obviously. Do we think she comes back at all next season? These, I feel like, are the predictions we have to make. Let's do some predictions, and then we'll get into some awesome tweets we found from Emmy. Okay.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well, I would say no on next season.
Okay.
I feel like we're going to get one season off, and then I feel like she would be back in the next.
So you're predicting 2 more seasons, more than 1 more season.
I'm going to go for it. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like... Because there's such short seasons. If they had 20 episodes in a season, well, I guess how many do we have? We have
13?
14? Yeah.
Does her storyline continue without her then? Do the siblings continue to talk about her so that we find out more about what she is doing, so that we get some more closure on her character, but without her being in the show?
I think in passing, it'll be little lines like,
right.
Oh, well, Fiona's doing this. We can't bug her. Something like that.
Something about maybe a new job or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do we see... Okay, so now for other predictions, because we do have to think about where our storyline goes now for next season. So what do we think? Any big predictions on anybody for next season?
I do think Lip will have the baby.
Okay.
I think they'll have the baby.
I think Debbie is going to have a total role change. I think she's going to try and be the new Fiona.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely
she already
seems
kind of
like...
started, so...
Exactly, and I think that's probably why she gave the money to her. I mean, she knows she needs it for Franny, too, but I imagine in the back of her head it was... she's already started taking over this motherly role. She's organized, trying to keep the house in order. Like, this is best with her. Yeah, so I think that's a good prediction. I would love to see Debbie with a love interest next season. I think it's time for her to get some actual love, like somebody that loves her back.
That would be nice.
It would be.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, let's look at some of these pictures. So I pulled some tweets and a post from Emmy. So this is Instagram, and Emmy Rossum wrote that, you know, the final episode is tonight, and she's going to be watching with everybody, and just how grateful she was. Today, 110 episodes later, I am filled with gratitude for my Shameless family and for our faithful audience. I'll be watching with love and can't wait to see what comes next.
Yeah, and that picture was taken from the pilot.
Yes. And so this one, another tweet from her says, tonight on my last evening as Fiona, I want to express my gratitude and love for Shameless family and our faithful audience. It's been an honor and privilege to be your Fiona. And what one super fan caught, which was awesome. Can you read her name? My eyes are so bad.
Danielle Kelly.
Yeah, perfect. Danielle Kelly noticed that Fiona was wearing the same shirt in this last episode as she wore in the first one, which was really cool. And she said, my heart, I'm going to effing cry. We love you, Emmy, and we wish the best of luck. You and Fiona will forever have a place in my heart. And I really feel like everyone feels like that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any tweets of people that were like,
Good riddance.
Yeah, glad she's gone, because she's such a staple in the show. It'll be very weird without her next season.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning it was Frank's show, the first 2, maybe 3 seasons, and then after
Because
that
he was such a
it's all
polarizing
Fiona
figure.
now.
Yeah. I think you expect things from Frank, whereas her storyline maybe has changed a little bit more than his over the last couple of seasons. But one, after that tweet, I saw Emmy wrote back to her actually and said, I love when you guys catch these little hidden gems that we hide in there, her and a producer. It's not the first time they've done that, they said. So, yeah, that was cool. I don't want to end the episode because it feels like such a big end, but I would love you guys to comment on below on our YouTube page and really keep this conversation going, because I'd love to know your thoughts on Fiona, how the episode went. Did you like how it ended? Did you want something else? So let's talk about it, and don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube also. Now that our panel's done, you're going to need another show to watch.
Yeah.
JJ, you have a show they can watch.
I do. One thing I want to say before I talk about that, though,
Yes.
I also want to make one other comment about this episode. I thought the music was freaking fantastic.
I love the music,
The music is always great on the show, but I thought specifically that, like, Mess from Lil Wayne was awesome. Baby, It's a Brand New Day. Then I Want More Out of Life, like, Loving Than This. I had never heard that song before, so I looked that up, and that was by San Marcos. So anyway, I just thought
That is a great point. It was good. It was, it really matched up everything that was going on today. That's so
really
true.
good.
Any last words? I don't want to cut anyone off if we've got other stuff to talk
Words.
about. It's okay.
I'm speechless.
Yeah.
I'm
I hear
I'm
you.
shook. I'm all of the above.
It's just going to be a waiting game
I need
now.
some time. I think I need some time to process the finality of it all.
Well, it is a loss, even though she's not, like, we didn't see any kind of character deaths or, they didn't kill anyone off the season or whatever, but it is a loss knowing that that actress and that character won't be back. So,
and I would just say thank you so much from all of our panel for all these years, because Emmy really we loved talking about you and Fiona and everything, and not only liking that, but all watching the fight she did to get equal pay, and
oh my
it's just
God,
such an inspiration,
such a strong,
as a woman,
female actress character all around. So that's so true. That was
My
awesome.
prediction for her is Oscar moment in the next 5 years.
Good one.
I love that for her. That'd be awesome. Okay.
Probably some part you think she'll probably like direct it, and maybe something she
does that too.
Her and her
Who knows?
husband need to write something. 'Cause they're both incredibly smart. So that would be amazing.
Yep.
Okay. Well, tell them where they can find you.
All right,
Your
now you can follow me at jj.jurgens on Instagram, and I have a show here on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. called Tom Girl. So I'd love to have you join, watch that, and comment about that.
Jessica O'Connor _ on Instagram. That simple.
And you guys can find me everywhere at Haley Clover. Again, don't forget to subscribe to us, like us on YouTube, and you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, a lot of other places. So if you want to just listen while you're in the car, we're there too. Okay, and we will see you next season, everybody. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.